What would you do if the person you loved most thought you were nothing but a penny-pinching nobody, while you held a secret that could change their entire world? That was my life for years, living in the shadow of my sister Clara's judgment, her sharp words cutting deeper than she'd ever know. She called me cheap, mocked my thrift store clothes, my beat-up car, my refusal to splurge on anything. But Clara didn't know the truth. She didn't know that beneath my run-down house, in a basement she'd never bothered to visit, I was hiding millions. I wasn't always this way quiet, unassuming, invisible. Growing up, Clara and I were close. Two kids against the world in a small town where dreams felt like luxuries. Our parents worked hard, but money was tight, and we learned early to stretch every dollar. Clara hated it. She craved glamour, the kind of life you see in magazines. I was different. I saw money as a puzzle, a game to master. By 16, I was reading investment books, sneaking into the library to study stocks. Clara laughed, called me a nerd. She didn't know I was building something bigger than either of us. After college, Clara chased her dreams in the city, landing a job in fashion PR, always dressed in designer labels, always chasing the next big thing. I stayed behind, took a low-key job as a data analyst, and bought a fixer-upper house that looked like it might collapse. Clara visited once, wrinkled her nose at the peeling paint, and never came back. "You're so cheap, Ethan," she'd say over the phone, her voice dripping with pity. "Why live like that? Don't you want more?" I'd just laugh it off, change the subject. She had no idea. The truth was, I'd cracked the code. In my early 20s, I started investing small at first, spare change from my paycheck. I studied markets obsessively, learned to spot patterns others missed. By 25, I made my first million through a lucky break in tech stocks. By 30, I was sitting on 8 figures diversified across real estate, crypto, and a few startups I'd quietly funded. But I never touched the money. I kept living like I was broke, driving my old Honda, eating ramen, wearing the same faded hoodie. Why? Because I didn't trust the world to stay kind if it knew. And because I wanted to prove something not to Clara, but to myself. The basement was my secret vault. Not literal gold, but close. Stock certificates, encrypted drives with crypto keys, deeds to properties Clara didn't even know existed. I'd spend nights down there, surrounded by dusty furniture, working on my laptop, watching my wealth grow. It wasn't about greed. It was about control, about knowing I'd never be at the mercy of anyone again. But Clara's words still stung. Every time she called me cheap, it was like she was dismissing the one thing I'd mastered. Last summer, everything changed. Clara came home for our mom's 60th birthday, her first visit in years. She rolled up in a rented convertible, wearing sunglasses that probably cost more than my monthly mortgage. I picked her up from the airport in my Honda, and she didn't even try to hide her smirk. "Still driving this junker?" "Huh," she said, tossing her designer bag in the back. I just shrugged. "Gets me where I need to go." At Mom's party, Clara was the star, charming everyone with stories of her glamorous life. I stayed in the background, helping with dishes, avoiding attention. But then she cornered me in the kitchen. "Ethan, you've got to stop living like this," she said, her voice sharp. "You're 32, and you're still pinching pennies like some old miser. It's embarrassing. Don't you care what people think?" I wanted to tell her then, to wipe that smug look off her face, but I didn't. I just mumbled something about being fine and walked away. That's when the twist came not from me, but from someone I hadn't seen in years. At the party was Jake, an old high school friend who'd moved away and made it big in tech. He'd heard rumors about my investments through mutual contacts in the finance world. Jake wasn't subtle. He clapped me on the back, grinning, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Ethan, man, you're the quiet genius, aren't you? I heard you bankrolled half of Silicon Valley startups." The room went silent. Clara's jaw dropped. I tried to laugh it off, but Jake kept going, oblivious. Come on, don't be modest. You're sitting on a fortune, and you're still driving that piece of crap car? I saw the confusion in Clara's eyes, the way her certainty unraveled. After the party, she followed me home, demanding answers. Is it true? She asked, her voice trembling. Are you rich? I didn't want to lie anymore. I took her to the basement, showed her the stacks of documents, the glowing screens with numbers she couldn't comprehend. Her face was a mix of shock and betrayal. Why didn't you tell me? She whispered. All this time, I thought you were nothing. That's when it hit me. Clara's judgment wasn't about me. It was about her own insecurities, her need to feel superior in a world that demanded so much. I could have been cruel, could have thrown her words back in her face. Instead, I told her the truth. I didn't want the money to change us, I said. I wanted to know you loved me for me, not for what I could buy. She started crying, and for the first time in years, we really talked. About our fears, our dreams, the distance that had grown between us. In the weeks that followed, I started opening up. I didn't flaunt my wealth, but I used it quietly. I paid off Mom's medical bills, set up a scholarship for kids in our town, even helped Clara with her business when she admitted she was struggling. She apologized for calling me cheap, but I told her it didn't matter. What mattered was that we were family, and money couldn't buy that. Looking back, I don't regret hiding the millions. It taught me who I was, what I valued. Clara's changed now. She doesn't judge as quickly, doesn't measure people by their clothes or cars. And me? I'm still the guy in the hoodie, still driving that old Honda. But now, when Clara visits, she doesn't smirk. She just smiles and says, "You're something else, Ethan." And that's enough.